Good morning again. This morning I thought would talk a little bit about some of my carnival glass collection. I have I'd consider it a small collection. These are some of the pieces. This is the first piece I ever bought, and this is Fenton Captive Rose. I bought it at a thrift store. I didn't know what carnival glass even really was back then, but it was such a pretty bowl, and the price was really good, so I bought it. And that started me on my carnival glass collecting journey. Carnival glass, the pieces that I have are the older pieces. I guess you'd consider them antique right now. And even though it was made up until the 70s, probably some still being made today. You see how beautiful the iridescence is. I think the newer pieces, the iridescence has a different, more oily look than the really old pieces. And you have to hold it up to a light source to really see the base color. And this one is green. And as I said, it's Fenton Captive Rose. It's just beautiful. This is a piece that I got on an online auction, and it is Northwood. And I don't know if you can see, but Northwood always marked their pieces with an N in a circle at the bottom. And it's, I think, what they would call stippled rays on the inside. It's iridized on the inside, but it also has an outside pattern of some sort of a, I don't know if it's a daisy or a carnation. There are sites where you can research all of these patterns if you're interested in that, and maybe I'll get around to doing it one of these days. As I said, I like pretty glass and couldn't resist it. Now, this is another Northwood piece. You can clearly see the N in the circle on this one. And it is plain inside. And it also has, I think, the same pattern as this one on the outside. See that? This one is a little bit wonky, I guess is one word for it. As you can see, the ruffles aren't exactly even, and the circle in the middle is a little bit off, but it's still nice. And it is also green. So those first three pieces were green. You really have to hold the some of the carnival glass certainly up to a light in order to see the base color. This little bowl, I think, is Fenton. I'm not sure. This is marigold. Marigold usually has, or I would say always, as far as I know, would have a white base. And it is the more common color. I have a lot of pieces of marigold. There are some things, some items that marigold would be a scarce color. For the most part, though, it's fairly common. This is also a marigold piece, and this piece has such beautiful dark iridescence. And it's almost looks like holly berries. Not sure. Unfortunately, this piece has an internal crack, and I'll hold it up. I don't know if you can see it. There's always going to be mold marks and things, but there is a crack. I believe that's it there. You can't feel it with your fingernail, but it's there on the inside. Still a nice piece, beautiful iridescence, and it displays quite well. And here's our bottom with the clear foot. Okay. Now, I think, and it would make sense that this is called Peacock and Grape. And again, it's another green piece. Hold it up to the light and you can see the beautiful green background. And our peacocks and our grapes. Very nice. Some of the iridescence has either been rubbed off or was missing from the beginning on the inside, but on the very middle. But the rest of it is very well iridized. And this one also has an outside pattern. I don't know if that's some kind of a berry or acorns, but that's the thing with carnival glass. There's so much of it, but no two pieces are exactly alike because they didn't all take the iridization the same, or they may decide to do a certain thing on the outside of one and not the other. And it is old glass and may not have all survived. This is a piece of marigold, but this is, I think, peach opalescent is what we would call this. And you can of course see the opalescent, and you can see on the outside that there's a cherry pattern, and it's footed. The inside has a cherry pattern. Well, the inside has no pattern other than what's painted on there. And that is some sort of enamel paint, so that's different. I have a couple of pieces like this, and again you can see that the iridization is missing in the very middle, but just a lovely piece, and it has a lot of opalescence. Sometimes the opalescence is just at the very top, sometimes it'll go down to the bottom. It's just a very nice footed piece of carnival glass. I mentioned the other day that I had bought some Royal Albert at Northbrook Cottage in Brigus, and that's also where I got this particular piece of carnival glass. This is Fenton, the pattern is horse medallion, and the shape is called Jack in the Pulpit. And this piece is actually, I don't know how well you can see it in the light. It doesn't really show up as well as I'd like it to, but if you look at the feet, you can see that this piece is actually amethyst. And as I understand, amethyst is not a popular color in this particular pattern. So I was really glad to get that. This piece, I did get this, I think, locally on an auction. And you can see the iridescence on this one is just lovely. And it is some sort of grape pattern. A lot of different makers made pieces with the grape patterns, and I think some of them may have sold their molds one company to another, so sometimes it's hard to know. I'm sure there are sites where you can research all of this and find out exactly who made a pattern and when it was made. But I think it's just such beautiful glass, and this one, as you can see when I hold it up to the light, it's a lighter sort of a blue. And you can see that on the, when you turn it over, you see that the foot is blue, or the bottom. It is iridized on the outside, but there is no outside pattern. So there's just so many combinations of patterns and colors. It's unending, really. This piece, for example, you look at that and you're thinking, oh, what color is it? It's got a lot of blue iridization. This is embossed scroll. This I bought at the SPCA thrift store in St. John's. And I almost missed it because it was in a cabinet and it was laid flat. And it really, I couldn't tell that it was carnival glass, but I decided to look in the cabinet and there it was. And I guess you'd call this a plate. And again, this is an amethyst piece. So when you hold it up, you can see that. It has a plain back. And I don't have a lot of plates for some reason. I think they're scarcer. I don't know if it's because they were used more. I honestly don't know. And the thing about carnival glass living here in Newfoundland is that it's not that common. You know, you kind of, when you see it, you buy it, even if it isn't 100% perfect. This one, I would say, is perfect. And this is another one I got from Dion at Northbrook Cottage in Brigus. The pattern is 10 mums. And there are, if you count, there are 10 mums in the pattern. And it has a scarcer edge, to my understanding. This is called a candy ribbon edge. And the colors are just beautiful. It is blue. You hold it up to the light and you can see it. And it is iridized on the outside. It was some sort of salts that they used to get this effect. And again, the iridization is just so nice. There's your bottom. You can see the base color. So this is certainly one of my favorite pieces. I have quite a few more, and I think doing these videos will give me an opportunity maybe to write them down and inventory them so I do know what I have and maybe do a bit more research. Anyway, that's it for this morning. Thanks for watching. Again, a like, thumbs up, comment would be more than appreciated. And certainly if you want to subscribe, I would appreciate that very much as well. You all have a great day. We're having a bit of a blustery one here today in Newfoundland. And we'll talk later.